Okay, we'll reconvene into open session at 5:46. And I do have an item to report out in open session from closed session by a vote of 5-0. Trustees voted to deny the uniform complaint appeal that was submitted to the board pursuant to 5 CCR 4631. And now we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the Union
and to the republic stands one nation, visible with liberty and justice for all.
Move on to item 5, comment session. Comments and announcements by board members. Sandra Barnes.
I have nothing, thank you.
Jessica Anthony.
I just wanted to comment that my children started school this week at one of our delightful schools. It's okay if it doesn't come up. I took a couple pictures to share with everybody. This is my first grader with Mrs. Christy Lephart, and she's looking like Belle from Beauty and the Beast. And I'm going to call Bo the Beast because he's a little crazy man that she gets to have in her classroom this year. And she is so excited to be his teacher, and we're really happy to do that too. So they are going to have a great first grade year with her and Mrs. Love. And both my children were very, very excited to go back to Ophir this year and attend school. The level of excitement was just magical, and to hear all the kids running around and seeing their friends on the playground was just a really cool experience. So we're really excited for this year. I think I had one more picture. Yeah. Oh, there's Mrs. Lephart showing Bo his classroom.
Thank you.
He didn't want to be there. He wanted to be at recess. He was like, can you let me go now?
All right. Bill LeGrone.
I just want to take the moment, the opportunity to welcome back all of our students and to welcome back our teachers and tell them how much we do appreciate them and their dedication to their students, our community, and their profession. I mean, I know it's a difficult time and they went through a couple difficult years, and the mood just seems to be lighter now. And I hope things are becoming easier as they become more adjusted to what is a new normal, I suppose. But anyway, welcome back and thank you for your dedication.
Thank you. Lisa Torres.
I would like to welcome also the teachers and students back. I know my daughter was excited. I have a granddaughter that goes to elementary school, and she was very excited. And she has a great teacher. I know who a teacher is. I've been associated with Wyandotte for a long time, since Shalene was in kindergarten. And so, and I got a chance to go to Wyandotte today to go meet up with Kathy. And also, you know, it's so nice. I saw the gates and everything like that. It was very nice. And I work with some people that have kids in that school, and they are very grateful. And also their kids had very good days. All I've been getting is good feedback about their first days of school. And it's been very nice. And like I told Kathy, I feel like this year, because we've overcome through so many things and so many obstacles, and we have a fresh start, and kids are kind of used to going to school now. So now it's like, you know, it's kind of like a back to a norm, whatever a norm really is. But I think that we're going to have a great year this year. I think we're just going to go from here forward. We know how to deal. We've gone through struggles, and it's only made us stronger.
Thank you. And I would like to just support that. Welcome back to all of our staff, our teachers, our students, our families. And I can see, and I've heard stories of that lightness and the enthusiasm and the joy that is back, as opposed to the last couple of years with coming back with heavy COVID restrictions. And it's wonderful to hear the stories of the students and teachers and parents being excited to come back to school, come back to Oroville City Elementary District. So thank you for everyone who's made that a reality. Dr. Holtum.
Thank you. I too would like to welcome back all of our students, our families, and our staff. both classified and certificated, and our administrators, of course. We have worked really hard to prepare our schools. I'd like to thank our grounds and maintenance for the great job. Our schools are looking great. Thanks to them. A special thank you to my staff, not only at the district office, but my two administrative assistants, Kim and Sandra. We have been working tirelessly, long hours to prepare our opening. Sandra has been putting in overtime every day for the last several weeks because we've done so much hiring, and they have done a tremendous job getting us prepared. They have done a lion's share of all the behind the scenes prep for ensuring that we have all of our personnel people in place for the first day of school. Also want to thank our safety committee. We met last week. We have several members of our board on that team or committee, staff members and parents. And we had an excellent meeting, and we're going to continue to meet on a regular basis to continue to look for ways to reinsure and protect our students. We have a lot of great plans, and a lot of things are still pending or in the planning process. We've mentioned the gates, and we're getting gates at all of our sites, including the ones that don't have them currently. And so that is going to be something that we're doing as we speak, getting bids and things of that nature. And want to thank just everyone else who behind the scenes have made it for such a good opening this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Andrew James.
Good evening, everybody. Just wanted to sort of echo what Spencer had said about Spencer and the HR department and hiring all summer long. You know, you'll see in the news a lot of districts are struggling to find staff, and we're fairly close to being fully staffed. And that's a reflection of the hard work they're all doing and have been doing all summer and even before the summer began. Safety committee, very, very important work, very sobering work. I appreciate the parents and board members and administrators and teachers that came to that safety committee. It was really good to see more involvement and more input from other people. I've been on the safety committee the entire time I've been at this district. So that was the biggest turnout we've had, and it was great to get all the input. I wanted to thank the transportation department at Orville Union High School District, Mike Davis and Jim Lagrone, and the handful of drivers they have. They've really had a hard time with getting enough drivers. They currently have 4 vacancies for full-time bus drivers. And they've been given the sort of undesirable task of, where do you make cuts and how does that work? And, know that they're working really hard to get those positions filled so we can restore transportation for Orville City Elementary School kids. I don't envy them one bit and what they're having to do, but they're all working very hard, and I appreciate it. And last thing, I saw the CPR meeting for our campus supervisors, and I, heard a lot of good things about campus supervisors this week. So I just wanted to, put a big shout out to them. They're an important part of our campuses, important part of our school, important part of our culture and safety. So I just wanted to thank our campus supervisors.
Thank you. Janet Hanley.
Well, I think you have job of welcoming everybody. So I'm just going to say ditto on all of that. And the only thing I'll add to the conversation is that we did finish up with some professional development. We had our administrators this summer and 5 days of training on restorative practices. We had some teachers that also joined us for 2-day additional training on restorative practices. And then all of our teachers attended a day's training on circles, on how to, and it's all about how to bond and create a positive environment at the schools through circles. And we also had classified that attended a 2.5-hour training that did an overview of restorative practices in circles and how to ask the restorative questions. So all of our staff got trained this summer right before school started, and it was very positive. Our evaluations came out that they were 4s and 5s, and so it was very well received by staff. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And Kimberly Tyler.
I'm going to have to admit that I don't do very much Facebook. But after I have seen the picture of Superintendent Holcomb with such joy and exuberance about the first day of school, I'm going to have to check that out more.
That was pretty impressive. All right, item C, comments by the public. So at this time, the board will extend an invitation to interested parties who wish to speak on matters which are school related. For those attending remotely who wish to comment, use the raise your hand button to be called on to speak. Comments or questions may also be emailed to backpack@ocesd.net. Please include your first and last name in your comments. Comments and questions received without a name will not be read into the record or addressed during the meeting. We will limit comments to 3 minutes per person and 20 minutes per subject. Do we have any emails?
No, we do not.
Do we have any hands online?
No, we do not.
Do we have anyone in the audience who would like to speak at this time? No, we do not. All right. We will move on to our presentations. Item 6A, summer school recap.
Yes, part of our after school grant had a requirement that we did 30 days of additional school, and it could be either throughout the school year or during the summer. So we created a summer school in conjunction with BCOE, and BCOE is supporting us with the after school care. And so to do the 30 days, we did 15 days this year in July, and then next year we'll have a 15-day summer school in June. We'll take a week break and then a 15-day summer school in July. So this was the start of a new type of summer school. And I would like to introduce to you tonight, Mr. Chow, who was our summer school principal, and Laura Philback, who was a teacher at summer school, and they're going to do a short presentation. Okay, so come on up.
There's a button to press.
About that.
There we go.
Thank you. Thanks for having us to speak about our summer school experience 2022. We had a short summer school, but it was a success because we had dedicated staff, passionate teachers, engaged students, and we had lots of fun and very pleased parents whose students had a good experience. So we had only 3 weeks, but we covered K-8. So in congruence with our district-wide value of keeping everyone safe, respectful, and responsible, imparting all those values to our students, we had a successful school for the summer because it went very smoothly. And we had K-8, 100 enrollment, a combination K-1. Each class had 20 students. A standalone second grade, standalone third grade, combination 4, 5, and then we had 5, 6, 7, 8 because we had everyone at one location. So our layout basically was in the morning, we had teachers come in and they had a little prep while students eat and be ready. And then we had our integrated math and ELA for 2 hours before they break out for break. 15 minutes, and then they get to the exciting part which is they get to engage in the electives of either robotics, B-bots, Lego, or drama and stop motion, which is exciting for students. And so after that, they go to lunch, and then they also segue into after school program that's brought on by BCOE. And I mentioned that it is a success because everyone involved was pleased and engaged. And it also is evidence in our survey afterwards from parents, teachers, and students as to how they felt and what they thought of the summer school. And so we asked all of students, but we had 68 responses from students as to how they think the summer school went. And in a nutshell, 82% of them agree or strongly agree that the whole summer school was a good, engaging and fun experience. In alignment to that, 60% said that they would come to a summer school with similar design again in the future. And also from parents, we had 26 responses, although we gave it to everyone that we could get a hold of. 92% of those respondents though said they were very pleased because they thought it was well run and that their children really enjoyed the summer school. And from staff though, that's also in alignment with what we thought. 100% of total 9 respondents indicated that they were having adequate support to be successful in the summer school. 100% also agreed to the statement that they would work again in the summer school with similar design in the future. So I'll leave it at that, and I'll have our teacher, Ms. Fieldback, to share with you the ground level experience that teachers and students had with you about the summer school.
Okay, so we can go ahead and go. So my students did I had the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. And so they went out and they did some interviewing with the classes and then took a few pictures of the different classes. So in the kindergarten room, everybody was having a good time in there. We wanted to stay because they were doing a lot of cutting and then they were doing some calendar work during their language arts time and math time. And so that was a lot of fun in that class. And those are just a couple pictures. 2nd grade, they asked them what were they doing. And so they're like, well, we're having fun. They get to play with Legos while they were working on their reading and writing in there. And they were excited about their drama play that some of them were working on. And then grade 3, same thing. I think they were in there making dough maps when I went in there, or they had made some. So they were talking about explorers in there. I'm not quite sure which ones or what they were doing, but they were learning somewhere in there about maps and geography. So that was a lot of fun for them. And then let's see, this one, they were doing some kind of math. I'm not quite sure. It was a STEM project that they were doing in there, but she was really good with the kids, keeping them moving and doing different things. And then we worked together, Mrs. Harpain and myself, to do for our language arts. We were doing writing with reading and then writing paragraphs and complete sentences and working on that with their topic sentences. And then math, we were working on fractions, adding and subtracting with like denominators and unlike denominators, because we were moving some kids back and forth between us. So we were staying on the same level. And then my class, they were learning to read because I wouldn't help them with their origami and you have to really follow along. So they were learning to read instruction books and doing that. And then they taught me a new thing on the TV on YouTube, Book It, which was really a fun thing to do. It's another way we can do quizzes and practice tests and review questions. And you can make your own, or there's some that are already done. And the kids seem to like that a lot better than Kahoot. So that was something I learned. And then in piano, they were not just slamming on the keyboards. None of them were doing that. They were learning Mary Had a Little Lamb. They were learning other songs on keyboards. We have one video.
That's pretty big. Wow.
And then we found one boy that came in that couldn't read the music or anything, but he just listened and then was playing it. So I thought that was really interesting. And then there's one where they were in the Legos playing with that and learning. Whoa. And they had little like table placemats that they were following along and building with that. Whoa. And then And then in this one, they were drawing different paths and then their little robots would follow that path. I don't know how it worked. Oh, that's cool. I'm like, I was amazed by it. And then this was them getting ready for their play. And so they performed to the upper grades, did one play, and then the lower grades did another one. And so that's when they were just working on their props because they built their own props. And then in stop motion, you can see where it's eating. Once they figured out how to move their hands away and take the pictures, and they were patient with it, but it took them like 15 minutes to do a 10-second film. And so then I had to film everything with my camera. We don't have the technology where it saves it in the thing, but so that's what they worked on their electives. And then if there's any questions.
First of all, I'd like to thank you and all your staff for the great job in summer school. And also want to share with the board that typically when we do summer school, we start off with a full group and then by the end of it, we're less than half.
We didn't lose
That
any.
was not the case in this. We didn't lose kids, which
Mm-mm.
is says a lot about the engagement and the curriculum and our leadership and support. So thank you very much.
I have a couple of questions. One of the main reasons why we had this program was to enhance any of the students' learnings who were falling behind. Did you see any advancements at all? Or any kind of catch up in their learning?
That I'm not sure because I didn't have them before and then, but I do have 3 of them this year in my class. So it'll be interesting to see when we start doing some writing in there.
Yeah.
They did catch on how to do the fractions. And then I did do a pre of just here's what you need to write and just let them go. And then we worked on it and then did it at the end. And so then I left it in a folder. I don't know if you got it or not, but there was some student work in there. And so they did learn a little bit of the concept of how to do it and got the gist of it.
And then my second question is this expandable and will we be doing it again next summer?
Yes. So next summer we'll have 2 sessions. This summer we started with a session in July. So next summer it'll be 1 session in June and 1 session in July.
Okay. And 100 kids, that was the maximum that we could have?
Well,
Were all the
actually,
spots?
we had we didn't have a lot of interest this summer as at the beginning as we were getting signups and also staffing. So I think that we ended a year where a lot of people were really exhausted.
Mhm.
And in all honesty, it was just a lot of people needed to go do self-care and just have fun and get away. So this summer school, we really put a lot of that in there because we could just tell our kids were exhausted. And the summer before, we were trying to get the robotics in, and we thought after school program was doing it. So we were excited to add it into our program. I've got to tell you, I have never seen such excitement in classrooms as when I would walk in and they just learned how to program the robots, how to go right, and they had to stay on the desktop. And so these kids were so engaged and so excited. It was kind of neat. But to answer your question, yes, we will be doing it next summer and we'll do it twice. Our goal is to expand. It wasn't really, but we did feel like starting small and seeing how it goes and really looking at what we could improve on, how we could make it better. And we really felt that this was unique because we ended a tough year and kids really needed a break, as did teachers.
And then we even had 6, I think there were 6 students from my class that for the Fun Friday, they were given the instructions and the tools to build the popcorn machine, the candy cotton, and the snow cone machine, and just said, here you go, you need to read it and do it. And they had supervision, but they did it. And then both Fridays they ran it, or the 3 Fridays, they were the ones that were running it with adults right there, but they did it. So that was fun to watch them.
And you
Do
got
that.
cotton candy.
Yes.
Popcorn.
They put together 3 machines.
The machines, they put them
Oh, they put 'em
together.
together.
They put them together and then ran them.
Our academic piece center on informational text. So they had to read a lot of directions for origami. for
Technical
putting plates together,
schematics.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
And also in our math, we did lots of fractions because they will lead them
Yeah.
into further abstract thinking to tackle a higher math in the future.
And decimal.
Yeah. So any other questions?
It's
So-
really fun to see that you didn't have anybody leave. They wanted to come back every
Mhm.
day, and you really provided an environment that was conducive to what kids want to do. And during the summer, I think that's wonderful. So thank you.
I was surprised with the 7th graders, the older kids, 6th
Yeah.
graders. And I had one that was 8th grade, 7th grade that came. He wasn't even registered. He showed up and then we got him registered.
It was a good experience for everyone involved because it was well planned, executed, and students were engaged and parents were pleased. So it was a success. Thank you
But
for the
thank you.
opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We greatly appreciate your work.
Dr. Holston, what are the odds that, what's the opportunity for internships on that one?
As far as teachers and things like
Mhm.
that, so they are and could be eligible for that, depending on their status.
I think we did offer actually a couple interns. It didn't work out, but this prior summer, we did have interns to help us.
Cool beans.
Thank you. And now we move on to item B, the 22-23 enrollment update.
So I'm going to take you briefly through the enrollment as of today, the second day of school. Oroville City Elementary School District, as long as I've worked here, except for maybe the pandemic year, we've had a trend in our enrollment where students tend to show up after the first day of school. So we're hopeful that we'll continue to pick up. But if you look at this chart, you can see where I projected. This is not last year's enrollment numbers. We're comparing is where I projected us to be at, and then where we're actually at today. You can see that like in 5th grade, we're good to the 8. We have 8 more students than we anticipated, but the other grades were below where we have projected. However, I do anticipate we're going to pick up at least 100 more kids. Hopefully, I'm hopeful that we'll make the entire margin and hopefully continue up. Because like I said, we don't, when I first started, it was really not until after Labor Day were kids done enrolling. So lately it's been more like, the following Monday, Tuesday is when the majority of enrollments occur. So we're hopeful that we'll gain, a couple hundred more kids and hopefully it just keeps going up. Additionally, during the year, you tend to see an uptick in enrollment as the year progresses at Oroville Elementary. So our enrollment, though day 2, it's down 199. This is not really very shocking compared to years in the past where we've been down quite a few more than that. So we're hopeful and looking at it and hoping that that we see some new enrollments. We were excited to see, having some transportation issues at Oakdale. Oakdale is loaded pretty well, even though there's no transportation to Oakdale. So that was encouraging. Hopefully that the transportation issues will be minor, even though I know that it's an inconvenience for our parents.
And just to give the board a sense of what Andrew's talking about regarding how we increase or get new kids on a daily basis, the difference between yesterday and today was we had an additional 70 new students. And the 100 that he is talking about, because we do online enrollment, there's a part of it where they do online enrollment and then they have to come in and give their verifications and things like that. And we have about 100 of those that are in the process of getting fully enrolled. So we feel like we're going to hopefully get to our projection mark and hopefully exceed it. But we started off strong.
Any questions, comments? Well, I'm glad that you are feeling good in your projections and that we're starting off strong. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to item 7, action session. Public comments on action items. The board will extend an invitation to interested parties who wish to speak on items that are listed on the agenda. For those attending remotely who wish to comment, use the raise your hand button to be called on to speak. Comments may also be emailed to backpack@ocesd.net. Please include your first and last name in your email. Comments received that pertain to items listed on the agenda will be read into the record at this time. However, comments received without the sender's name will not be read. The Brown Act does not allow the governing board to discuss or take action on any item that is not on the posted agenda. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person and 20 minutes per subject. Do we have any emails to read?
No, we do not.
And do we have any hands raised online?
No, we do not.
Do we have any comments from the audience? No, we do not. Okay. So we'll move on to item number 8, consent agenda. I would like to report that I will be abstaining from this action item because my adult son is on the list of recommendations for personnel. Even though he's adult, I just feel that I should abstain from this item. So is there a motion on the floor to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any comments, discussion, questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Aye. So 1 abstain and 4 approve. Item C, interdistrict attendance request recommendation for denial. Did I skip one? I'm sorry, I did.
Way down at the bottom.
Okay. This is,
Caught me in more than once.
wait. Mine is different. We're up here though.
Oh, yep, you're good.
Okay. And interdistrict attendance request recommended for denial.
Madam Chairperson, I believe that's was part of the consent agenda that's
Yeah.
been approved.
Yes. So I think.
You're
we're
right.
on
I'm
to
sorry. You are
number-
right.
Number 9.
Yep. Thank you.
Between
Okay.
the both of us.
I know. We'll figure it out. New business, approved change to September board meeting date.
Madam President, I'd like to ask the board to remove this from the board agenda as we have mitigated our need to change this board date. Mm-mm.
We'll move on to item number 10, personnel. A, approve amendment to superintendent's employment contract. It's recommended that an amendment to the automobile allowance section of the employment contract for Dr. Spencer Holtum, superintendent, be approved as presented effective July 1st, 2022. Is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Is there a second? Comments, discussion, questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries with 5 yes votes. Item B, approve new job title, social worker.
Thank you, Madam President. So it is recommended that a social worker job title be approved for the 22-23 school year. The reason for this is because in recent years, school districts have expanded into having additional emotional and social and emotional workers within schools. For example, many large districts have MFTs or social workers in addition to counselors. We have added some of our educational therapists that have both a social worker degree and license, as well as a MFT or marriage and family therapist license. But we have only had in the PPS area just a credential for counselors. Now schools, education programs have credential programs for social workers as well. And so we've never had that job description in our district. But before we are able to go to negotiate a new job description for a social worker with a credential, we need to have that as a job title. So it is recommended that we add this as a job title, which will allow me then to move forward with a job description.
Is there a motion to approve the new job title, social worker?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay, item C, practicum agreement with San Jose State University for social worker.
So this particular employee is in the intern status. And whenever we have a intern from any of the local or national programs, we have to enter into an agreement with that college. We have these agreements with Chico State, Brandman University, National University, Western Governors, and so on. This particular individual is in an online program through San Jose State. Therefore, we're entering into an agreement with San Jose State for this person to be an intern, and we work with them to support that student, which would be an employee.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the practicum agreement with San Jose State University for social worker? Is there a second?
A second.
Any discussion? I'd just like to clarify the semantics of it. You mentioned intern and the student may be interning, but the agreement is not an internship agreement. It is a practicum agreement, which is different than an
Correct.
internship.
Thank you for that clarification.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Item D, approve waiver request for educational specialist instruction credential.
It is recommended that a variable term waiver request for a social work credential from the Commission on Teacher Credentialing be approved for Miranda Johnson. This waiver is in place so that she can work for us in this capacity at this time. She is not fully credentialed, and this allows her to work within our schools as a social worker using this waiver. And Madam President, if you have any other insight into this.
I just wanted to clarify that I read from the from a old agenda item, and the actual item is to approve the variable term waiver request for social worker for M. Johnson. And just coming from a credentialing perspective, the variable term waiver is the only option that we could use if this person is not on an official intern agreement. But it seems like the most logical, appropriate way to get this person in and serving our students. Any questions? Any other questions? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the variable term waiver request? So moved. Is there a second?
A second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item E, approve personnel recommendation.
So I know that we've gone through this already a couple times, but now we need to approve the personnel recommendation. It is recommended that the employment of Miranda Johnson be approved to work as a full-time social worker on a variable term waiver at Studios at Central during the 22-23 school year, effective August 12th, 2022. Placement will be step 5, step 1 on the certificated salary plus $800 for master stipend at $57,698 until the proper placement is negotiated during certificated negotiations, including the job description.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the personnel recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
Any questions, concerns, comments?
will this individual be working out of Central, covering the whole district?
She will be working at Central exclusively.
At the
Okay.
studios at Central?
Excuse me, at the studios at Central. Yes.
It'll always be Central in my heart.
And then will this be dependent upon approval with OETA?
So tonight, the waiver allows her to work. And then we will work with OETA to work on a job description specifically for this job title.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Hi.
Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. And with that, we will adjourn the meeting at 6:27. Thank you.
You're getting so fast.